Okay, so I'm going to read the first part of my book. Read it rawly indicating the way you should read the book, with an open heart and an honest mind, and an honest heart and an open mind. I think just a lot of that true and real, and it's you and it's all good, but don't pick up my book and judge it, because ultimately you're judging yourself. So to be empty and just to approach it, like what I'm gonna do is just third person. I know I wrote the book, but I haven't delved into it for quite some time, and a lot of things have changed, so I would like to experience it and see what I can comment on. Maybe I can close the gap and just sort of say how things are now as part testimony or whatever. I just feel that I've got to take the opportunity to use my voice, even if it's through a video and perhaps everybody else is busy. Let's take them off. Climb the steps, no pressure. They say you live the life you choose, but what if you did not receive your so-called chosen life? I can already see I'm young and naive. Anyway, I seem to think that by some error I received the wrong life. I did not choose this life. I certainly never chose to be the way that I am. I wanted to live the way of love and joy, but as fate would have it, it did not quite happen that way. Now, to put this into context, at the time that I was writing this, it was literally like that. I found myself looking at life and I didn't know, and this all shows that. And I thought I was at my fate, and I thought, a lot of things were sort of meaningless, and truly, when I say it's not heavy for me in my life, where I didn't exactly have a lot of thoughts or feelings that really compelled me to want to be in life. At some point I believed that my purpose was fulfilled. And I was kind of thinking, oh, why am I still here? And I went through a lot of pain, and I was so confused, and I had no one to talk to, and yeah, that's pretty hectic, especially when you're going through trauma and you don't really know what's going on, and then perhaps other things come along and you don't realize that piles up, and it takes quite a few more years, and with no support, it does take time, it does take work, it's daily work for some things, but it's how you learn to navigate life. And so I ask questions here. How could it be that I've become so profoundly unhappy? Is it all due to some absurd flaw in nature? A flaw that remained unchanged and uninfluenced by human choice, perhaps? Or is it for a reason not yet discovered? I like that curiosity. Honestly, who would want to endure each day with the sole goal of merely lasting through the day? I would pose that question now again. It's different for me now, but that's quite a heavy sentence. So is this one. Who would want to carry on when difficulties only seem to worsen with time? Oh boy, if I only knew what time was then. So they say we choose. But what happens if you decide to make things better and they simply become worse? I chose to make a change. I elected the attempt of improvement. But in the end, I felt I may as well have given up, as it proved to make no visible difference, whatever the choice. So on this, I would just like to say that, it takes time. And, it just doesn't happen overnight. Whatever I was talking about there, yes, through life, how you navigate it, especially if you want to go from chaos and mess to success, and you've got feelings and emotions and environments, your decision making, so the choices that you make, that you have to make, and you're responsible to do that, that's going to get you through. That's going to get you from that place to another place. So essentially, you don't have an excuse to stay stuck. And you should never expect somebody to... Nobody's going to come and do it for you. And at the same time, I do pray that, I just wish for everyone, every person, that they do have help or support around them that is available. Or at least, when you hear this, think about that and try and put that into place, because it's truly important, and you're not meant to live this life alone. And, unless it's the case that, there isn't anyone like that those people have also passed, and the remainder of people don't really care about you, then you gotta be tough, and you gotta be able to live and survive by yourself. And again, the decisions you choose to make can override your emotions, your thoughts, your essence of chaos or mess that you can't seem to figure out. Sometimes you don't need to figure it out. Sometimes you need to look forward and try and map it out, or try and see what can you do. And life is, there are so many decisions in life that are the key element to help you move. So yeah, and they're decisions a lot. And if I say key with it, it's it indicates that can make a change, that development is there, that there's opportunity, there's still potential left. And if it's a key, you can open it, or you can open whatever it needs to open. You've got something. And yeah, so, but in the end, I felt I might as well have given up, as it proved to make no visible difference, whatever the choice. Now, what I just said may seem negative, but in the mind state in which it was comprehended, and at the time formulated, a realistic and slightly ruminative opinion, strongly influenced by shocking reality and tough life experience. Oh God, really? Yeah, I look at that and I think, if you only knew, because I'm not saying that wasn't tough. I'm just saying that there's that it was not over then, and there are life experiences, many of them, that are tough. They can be overlapping, and you should never sweep them under the rug, and you should definitely face them and deal with them. And that life is also tough, that it can get tough. You should never be of the, ignorance or misunderstanding that life is just going to be easy. And even if it's made for you and that it is sort of easy, you should try and find a way to make yourself feel a little bit uncomfortable so you can get up and find a way to experience working and grinding and doing something that is tough, that you've been through, that you can say you've lived. And that doesn't mean bad. I'm just saying there are obstacles and challenges in life where you have to work hard, you have to maybe go through some tough times, hustle, but essentially it helps build your character. And you got to do what you must do to keep on carrying on. You gotta vuma, don't stay stagnant and don't stay stuck. And definitely when you are staying stuck, be very careful, because if people walk away and you're calling or you're just stuck there, and you could find yourself in a problem. There's really, so be smart, ask for advice, reach out. If you don't know something, go seek out the information, go find someone. If you have people in your life, family, don't take them for granted, please. That's one thing that I always say to people. If you have a child, children, if you have parents, if you have family that's there for you, if you have people that you can call and they answer the phone, and you know that you love them and they love you, and you can do things for each other to help one another, and so you have a support system, real people. Don't take that for granted. Don't take them for granted. And so that automatically points to, being grateful and starting now. Because, you can become shocked. Especially if you've got a lot of people around you. You need to check yourself. You need to look upon yourself. You need to do your self work as a person. You need to grow as a person. And that's vital. So whether you're alone, with family, or anything, you gotta live, learn, grow, gain knowledge, skills, adapt, embrace. And when there are, life is not just light, and you can't just focus on that and think that you don't have a deep side or a dark side or something in your life that you have to face it inside of yourself and overcome. That's a part of life and you can't avoid it, so just a heads up. Don't avoid it. Don't try and hide it. That's deceitful and that will hurt you, and it's just that will just make the process of facing your fears or facing the misunderstood parts of you head on, but with faith and with the belief that you are facing parts of you not to I just want to sort of pause here and say, don't be so afraid of yourself. It's if you've got fears, get somebody to help you work through them. If you've got some issues in life and you can talk to someone, maybe an elder person, maybe someone in healthcare, but I'm not going to talk about that or recommend those things. I'm just saying, it's don't be oblivious to that, and please don't think you're an immortal person, and humans are not like that, And so also, if you've got some life goals and you've got time and you find yourself sitting and maybe a hypothetical question floats to your face and your answer to that is nothing, I'm bored, oh my goodness, no, that's your cue. So it's good to ask yourself that sometimes. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who are you? Who are you to other people? When last have you done something kind for another person? Take a little reflection and not rumination, which is basically taking negative thoughts and thinking about them round and round. And I mean, the way I describe it here, it's like I did not know better. I could only identify what that was. And, well, I can't speak for everyone, but that's not nice. It doesn't make you feel good. So concentrating on negative thoughts or thoughts that make you feel bad and constantly pulling them up into your brain and making them re-exist over and over again, like lighting a flame, like just keeping that flame alive. And then trying to figure it out by rotating it in your head. And then also feeling whatever emotions you're feeling of that. And then ultimately coming to, I don't know. But you can't make a decision. Well, you did actually make a decision by choosing to dwell on whatever negative thoughts, maybe it's a lie, that you have. Like, try and figure out your feelings, learn about yourself, observe your thoughts, and maybe that can be things that you can use to discover something about you that is most likely, if you've got the right intention, true and real or of value, and that you can learn from and that you can use to just totally abolish that negative thought, that doubt, that lie, essentially. Because, I mean, listen here. If you're still here and if you're still breathing, you matter. And there's nothing that you can say or do to change that. But it's up to you to embrace that and to take that in and accept that as part of who you are. And please, if anything, never write yourself off in life, because essentially you're closing your whole self off, your psyche, your sight, even your opportunities that you never thought you could have. If you have a little bit of potential here, think of it as an upwards prism-like projection kind of spectrum thing. It gets more and bigger and it develops, but you've got to take what you've got and you've got to work with it. You've got to navigate with it. So let's just get back to here. And so my muddled mind constantly asks questions, but all they do is enhance broken relief and unsuccessful inner debate. I hope for solutions. I hope for my negative self-awareness to do a backflip out of my body. So that's good. I mean, you got to have hopes. And what essentially was happening there was like overthinking and trying to fight my thoughts and emotions. And so, yeah, and I could barely articulate it. So, but at least, what's good here is that I had hope. And I even stated that I had hope. So, whoever you are, maybe you don't have faith in something, maybe you don't believe, all those things in itself. You can pray and you'll be fine. Praying is good. You don't have to worship something or someone. Don't be weird. Just, if you can have hope, if you can keep on keeping on, and if you can know that giving up is not an option, it's a delusion. It's just not an option. It's not a way of life. And that no matter what, you just gotta find something that you can look up and that can be of an essence of light for you. That things are going to get better and that you can look up and look forward and know that what you've got in you now, and you've got potential and you have a reason for being here. And don't let anybody else tell you what this one thing. Nah. If anything, they've got to develop themselves. I mean, you got a teammate. Unfortunately, I have become overwhelmed by by desperation to find resolutions to my web of illustrious confusion. My messy consciousness has converted into a team of arsenic criminals who possess no will to provide reprieve. The firemen in my head have failed to make an appearance. So, I mean, that type of thinking, I mean, I was truly in pain. Gosh. And I couldn't really get a break from it, could I? And take at this is cool. I tend to think I will never be a savior. I cannot even save myself. Hectic. I survive, but I don't live. I breathe, but I breathe in smoke. I think that is quite prolific, actually, because I've got a couple of, like, domino effect, like, stories that is just like, whoa, like, realizations, from that. And also, I mean, when I read this a while ago, and it's like 9 years ago. And I'm not going to expand on what that means and everything that it's relevant to. I mean, that can be a whole book. But I was speaking about more. I mean, I wasn't. I think what I was indicating there is that I breathed, but I couldn't breathe. That it wasn't the same. That I felt choking, that I felt. My grasp is lost in a jungle and I have no compass. I'll die in the midst of absent faith and discontent. The way that I worded this is like, it's pretty amazing, because on this I can say, it's true. I will never be a savior, and I'm not. I cannot even save myself. Well, I mean, I know there's steps to do just to survive, but I mean, ultimately, it's not you that saves yourself like some heroic being. It's you that maintains that you live. And if you do need to save yourself, then you need to know certain things that you must do. So if you are in a situation, I mean, get numbers, get an SOS, like, have a hotline number on your phone, a police number, an ambulance number, all the necessary numbers, and know where to go, nearby hospital, nearby essential places. You don't have to be skilled in every survival skill, every sort of life-saving process of everything, but you got to know how to keep yourself alive. And I mean, if I say they'll die in the midst of absent faith and discontent, well, I mean, that was nearly true. It could have been true twice, and then the third time, although the third time is when I found my faith, and only recently that I found my content or sense of peace. And if I can comment on my grasp is lost in a jungle, I don't know what that meant, but I think that I was referring to where I felt that it was a jungle, like a maze, or like Tarzan in the jungle, like there's a bunch of ropes. I must like fly around like a monkey. I was like lost. How could I navigate? And I have no compass. I think what I was kind of saying there is I was, and always for a long time had been looking for a guide, someone to guide me. I didn't have direction. I didn't have anyone to ask. And it's not that I couldn't read an actual compass, but it was more of that. Like, so can say now, if you're ever lost anywhere, And I'm not talking about religion now, you need to understand that. I'm talking about that sense of awareness of who or what is greater than you. And in my life, that is God. And if I'm ever lost, or that's my most important direction, it's His direction. And for me, that gives me hope, that helps me feel stable, and also it has not failed me yet. So yeah. And it's also, there's there is a relief, there is a goodness in knowing that you have access to connect to what is bigger than you, and that can help you. And so definitely try it. And if you're ever find yourself in a weird situation where you do need help and you can't really get it, and I can give you a suggestion. And I would know that you did it, but it's a suggestion, and not everyone just shares these things. You can try praying. And there's something good in it. And you can pray as the person that you are. You don't need a title. You don't need to dub yourself as anything. You just need to believe that it's to what is above you. Like, if you pray to God, that's fine. Try it. You won't be condemned for that. My goodness me. I mean, that is a show of desperate faith. And I believe that, like, if you want to, you just talk to Him. And know that you're talking to a being that is higher than yourself and everybody. And I'm not going to explain too much there, but like, for me, I literally looked up and I can't explain it fully, but yeah, I mean, I looked to God, and when I was in a situation that was like, it was serious, and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't choose that. I didn't have any control, but I was worried. I knew that I hadn't done much or anything at all in exploring that way or learning enough or gaining knowledge there, and I didn't realize until that point how important those things are. And so I was very concerned for my soul. I did not want to go to my idea of hell. I wanted to go to sort of heaven, where I believe my mom was. So the way that I sort of sealed that, or made it real, and inside of me it did feel real. I was doing the salvation prayer with a friend of mine who guided me through, and ultimately it was also to give my life to Jesus. And I'm not trying to preach, I'm not trying to convert you to a religion, but that was the way through which I felt inside of me that confirmation or inner knowing that something shifted, something changed, because it was that act of, like, I am helpless, I can't do anything, and I'm reaching out. And I remember thinking, oh, God, He's done miracles, and He had done in my life before. God literally saving my life. And the 2 times before, I wasn't very happy about it. Which makes me even more grateful today that I made that choice, and that I decided, okay, I'm going to be in a relationship with this, with God. And, when it comes to the cross, like, I mean, yeah, I've got a whole story on that, but I'm very, it's very interesting, so, I mean, you've got to just know that, there's more to everything. There's more to what meets the eye. You need to know that you don't know everything, and you need to know that there's a large portion that you don't know. And to know that is good, because that can be really, really helpful, especially when you're like flying around like a crazy chicken and you're like, I don't know what to do. No, that is security, when you can know that some things are not supposed to be even touched by you, that they are out of your control. But that doesn't mean you must be out of control. Like, you need to just try and keep grounded. That's why it's important to just have things in life that are solid, that are good, and essentially, like, it's what you kind of end up naturally seeking in life. And yeah, I'm not trying to convert anyone, I'm just telling you about my life. And I must say, it's the reason why I still live and breathe today, and why I'm grateful for it, because I know that it's not my hand, but God, He keeps me, and He's always been there for me, and it's pretty amazing, that kind of relationship. And I must say, I'm very grateful for the things that I have been able to eventually feel in life, that I can say in this, just, that what I was thinking, if I could talk to me when I was younger, it's like, I'm not sure if what I would say, that don't worry, everything will be fine. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's nice to comment now and say, well, those things are different. Anyway, carrying on, factoring the challenges above, I approach the unsolved with a response instead of a solution. This response is that sometimes there are no answers. Sometimes you merely have to do, even when you cease to see cause or reason, even when it involves merely carrying on without clear direction. And I think that at that time, that's definitely fair enough for me, because that was enough for me at that time to convince myself to actually carry on. Let me be completely honest with you. I struggle to understand why this is. Of course I would, I didn't know. It makes absolutely no sense for someone to go through their life with no reason. But I do it. I carry on no matter how much I don't want to be here. That was in quotation marks, but trust me, don't play with that. Why? I haven't quite figured that out yet. All very true. Perhaps I will never know. Perhaps no one will ever know. That's quite dramatic. Perhaps why is not the point. One needs to climb up to the pinnacle of acceptance without expectation of miraculous solution. Boy, did that change. I was screaming for miracles later on, because I was so desperate, because I realized the third time in my life where I was, doctors were saying I was dying and I was going to die. And I got a reality shock there, and I realized I didn't choose this. I mean, and that was just quite a couple of years after I wrote this. And so there, I actually implemented a choice. I mean, I wanted to live, so yeah. And I did receive a miracle. I ended up living. I mean, that's how I'm talking to you today. It's also how doctors shrug their shoulders and say, I don't know, but hence I went back to them and said, it's never okay to say that over somebody's life. That's where your words have, that's, just saying that your words have power doesn't mean that you have power. It means that the words you use and choose to use. You need to be aware of which of those are weapons, okay, and that you should be careful of using, because ultimately you may and also there are words that you think that you can manipulate. No, it's about learning and being versed with how to speak the truth and how to speak kindly and of love and everything. Do right in the world and speak life over life. I never say to people horrific things that can traumatize them or even influence them or hurt them in such a way that you walk away unscathed. Please don't believe that, because every word that you say that hurts another person, they came from your mouth. So if you don't address that, that stays with you, because that's the show of your character. And it's not nice. If you have nothing nice to say, keep it to yourself. Or you choose to say other words. Even me, like if I feel I don't want to say something nice because I'm human, then I'll choose not to, just to keep it to myself. And I practice that, so it's good. Okay. One needs to climb up to the pinnacle of acceptance without expectation of miraculous solutions. I also think that this statement, as I read it again, is valid in a different way. That, I don't know what people think about what a miracle is, but I was naive in my thinking, and it was unique in my life that God had done so many amazing things. But it's not like miracles and wonders and things, like, don't take it lightly. It's just you don't just run into them. It's not something that you win at the lotto. It's not even something that I can say that you can work for. But so it just so happened to be. And so it's not, when I talk about that and stuff, it's not like that's what you must go and aim for, and don't do things to try and provoke that. I mean, that's wrong. So I do agree with that. Don't do things in life in order to somehow achieve a miracle. So expecting it, like miraculous solutions, that's like shortcuts. It's like, you have to do the work. Release the pressure. Just do. Just climb. No whys allowed. Embrace the experience instead of ignorantly foreseeing an unguaranteed arrival. Yeah, that's good. That's how I say, don't cut yourself off in life. Because if you think that you're already not going to get to the place you want to get to, then you won't get there. Because you've already pre-decided that you're not gonna succeed. So therefore you've taken a side step, or you've just sat down and you've completely decided, I'm going to fail, so I'm not going to try. Or if I do try, I know I'm going to fail. That's not the attitude that will help in any way. And please don't think that you'll surprise yourself by that way. Know that your actions have consequences. In this world we live in, this was 9 years ago, there isn't always an answer. And we need to learn to accept that. If we cannot, then we proceed to open up opportunities for disappointment and unfulfilled expectations to find us yet again. That is not typically what we want, is it? I suspect the average answer would be no. So we can choose, but only whilst keeping in mind that we will never be guaranteed of the product of that choice. That's interesting. We can, however, attempt to change or control our current actions. I don't like the word control. It's misused, but I think you are in charge and responsible for your actions. because people have strange connotations with the word control, and I think that is valid. Because if you think that you can control things in life or control other people, and trust me, I've experienced this with other people, no, step back. You've got to be the captain of your ship, you know, you have to be responsible for yourself. And yeah, and you know, the middle. And yeah, and I continue to say, but we can never presently control the outcome. That is absolutely true. We can't. And if you assume that you know the outcome, no, just leave it a little bit open after that you don't know. That's that open space for more what's possible that you don't know, but that you don't cut off because you've decided that you're the boss of, you know, dreams can come true. In this day and age, outcome and ultimate choice are out of our hands. That is quite a dramatic statement, and to be honest, I don't know what I mean. With all that said, I cannot help asking again. I cannot help trying to find out more. So that curiosity, that is very important. And keep that alive. Ask questions. Try and find out more. It's that seeking of the knowledge. It's that curiosity. It's that learning. It will help you. Trust me, I did it, and I can say that it really did help. So I asked, what am I supposed to do now? With no meaning, so-called. What benefit does that provide, if any at all? Is it what opens one's mind, lending one more insight? Yes. Maybe it creates a unique vicissitude in one's perception. Many. Could it be the mechanism that transforms one's way of thinking to a point that one's awareness becomes vastly alternate to before? Could the openness of lack of meaning actually be the portal to develop one's mind? I wonder. ... I mean, I must say, that's like solid gold. Like, if I just look at, it's 9 years ago, I mean, like, it's quite a thing to pull out the bag. Cool, well done. To the younger me. I'm not sure if the former is virtuous or corrupt, but so what, right? Yeah, I was still rebellious, yeah. Why does it have to resort to good or bad? This is where I'm appreciative of how careful I was, how I use my words in my writing. There's no certainty in either of them. That was true. There is, however, a large possibility that the entire everything for nothing mind state will remain unperturbed. So there you go, you get a picture of the mind state. I also need to be aware of the fact that no meaning may not be beneficial to me in the way that I expect. Oh, okay, that's very oxymoron, just dynamic and stuff. You can see that whole paragraph is me trying to figure stuff out. I mean, it's written in such a way, the quotations, everything. So, I'm grateful for that. What is the gift here? The first thing that comes to mind is that due to all this, one is not bound by anything. What I mean is that one's purpose, or its lack thereof, does not become pressure because it no longer exists. So I think I should translate that. If you haven't found your purpose yet and you don't know it, it doesn't mean you don't have one. And you may think it doesn't exist, but or maybe you're wobbling on what your purpose is. I mean, like, you gotta find it. That's all. Part of the journey. Hence, one becomes free in a way, free to observe life, including all its beauties and extremities. There is no more a ooh, life goal, boxing one up or hanging over one's head. Gosh, I think that's it's actually an interesting topic to be discussed with my psychologist possibly, and so I find it quite interesting. I mean, what was I saying there? I find it like what does that mean to me now? And what did it mean then, and what's the difference, and what can I learn from it? On the other hand, and here's the